So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for watching the video. For those of you who don't know, my name is Grim. Welcome to my channel. And for those of you who do know who I am, hi! I have a personal channel now. So, thanks for stopping by. And the subject of today's video is the brand new animated series on Adult Swim, My Adventures with Superman. Disclaimer: I am not the biggest Superman fan in the world. I like the guy, but I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about him, and nor am I going to pretend that I am going to know all the inaccuracies and all this other kind of stuff. So, just give a little bit of a warning for those of you who are curious. If you don't know, Adult Swim just aired, for me, it was literally like 10 minutes ago, the first two episodes of the brand new show. My overall thoughts, before we dive a little bit deeper into them, is they were okay. I didn't hate them, which then again, I went in with kind of a low expectation, but I thought they were okay overall. Right? They had their issues here and there with maybe some character moments and some jokes that didn't land all too well or really just fell flat. There are also things I liked. The dynamic between Lois and Clark. I'll go a bit deeper into that. But yes, for those who want the quick and dirty, like I said, it's okay. But again, this is only the first two episodes. So I have to preface this. This is my opinion based off the first two episodes. I have no clue as to what the rest of the series or the rest of the season will kind of bring forth. Anyway, now that you got the quick and dirty, let's move on to, the actual meat and potatoes. So, episode 1, let's just start with episode 1. It is an introductory episode to the series and introducing Clark, Lois, and Jimmy Olsen. First thing is first. They're all interns. None of them are reporters. All of them are interns. I'm kind of I don't know how to feel about the change. Like I said, I get the whole kind of wanting them to start from the bottom and then, start from the bottom and you know what I mean. But again, they're supposed to get to the top and make a name for themselves and become official reporters by the end of the season or series or whatever. So we will see how that plays out. I'm not sure how I'm not too sure I like it all that much in all honesty, but I will reserve judgment until more episodes kind of show the progress. And then the rest of the first episode was again, introduce Clark, Lois, Jimmy Olsen. The whole point of the first episode was for them to kind of, well, first it introduced Superman as a entity, right? Where he first made his quote unquote appearance, right? Where Clark first rescued people. And, that was saving Lois and Jimmy from their own stupidity, but let's not get into that yet. And Lois has this story where some robots were stolen and they track them down. But then there's kind of a spat between Clark and Lois because Lois lied to them and all this other kind of stuff. And, and it ends in a fight scene where Clark saves Lois and Jimmy. And it also introduces one Superman villain, Livewire. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know how I feel about her. It felt... I don't even know. For those... I will say this much. I have seen the original... I have seen Superman, the animated series. To see that Livewire and to see this Livewire is jarring. But in general, to see Livewire already a criminal, or less... I think her name was... Leslie, I forget her name. But to all of a sudden see her become a criminal and is already doing all this other kind of shit and already had quote unquote powers and all this other kind of stuff. So I thought it was a really odd, introduction for Livewire. But again, first episode ends, and Livewire escapes, right? And that's about it for the first episode. Again, it's supposed to introduce and it's supposed to kind of get the story off the board. Episode 2 is where things kind of kick off a little bit more. So Superman becomes an official thing. Like, he gets the costume and learns about his, Kryptonian heritage and all this other kind of stuff. Clark and Lois get closer together. Like, they were gonna almost basically kiss at the end of the second episode already. And then Jimmy decided to come be a dickhead and cockblock Clark. Livewire officially becomes quote-unquote Livewire. We get introduced to a government agent character who I'm pretty sure is going to be fighting Superman or trying to track him down, throughout this throughout the whole first season. right? Because it's revealed he works for Waller. Shock of all shocks. They get a good photo of Superman, or Lois and Jimmy get a good picture of Superman. They give it to Jimmy. Jimmy fucks them over and puts gives the byline to different characters who we'll probably meet in the next episode. And I mean, that's it. That's really it. That's the best way to sum up the episode. Now, as I said before, I will start with what I liked from the first 2 episodes. I didn't mind Clark's dorkiness. I think I said this earlier, but I may not have. I don't know how many takes I've done of this, but I did not mind Clark's dorkiness at times. It, like I said, in the first episode, within like his first interaction with Lois, it was a little much, right? I guess they're supposed to make, I know they're trying to do a humorous scene of like, Clark's, of Lois's first impression of Clark, and seeing he's kind of a dork, but but is sweet and all this other kind of stuff. But again, I didn't mind it, but again, I just wish they dialed back on it just a little bit, and it actually would have been fine. It would actually legitimately would have been completely fine. But again, outside of that, I actually like the dynamic they kind of set up between Clark and Lois. The one thing I actually especially appreciate, they're not beating around the bush. Maybe some people might have a problem with it, but I'm kind of relieved that they're not gonna beat around the bush with it too much. And that they might become a thing within the next episode or 2 at this rate. Like I said, I have no idea how many episodes this season has. We will find out. As for the fighting, I don't know. It's very early on, so I can't really say much. And then the Kryptonian aspect that you see in the show, again, it's really early on, but it seems Krypton was not destroyed in like a active, like how it was in like Man of Steel, or or just from the planet kind of just falling apart. It might be hinted at that there was a war that destroyed Krypton. I have no clue. Like I said, we don't know much. But again, is there anything else I want to mention? Not really. Like I said, I think it's I think it's okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And I remember when this show was first like announced and we got to see some of the artwork and the designs for the characters, it got clowned on. There was even an incident where an Instagram artist, I believe, kind of redesigned Lois to kind of look more like Lois, and also gave her a skirt, and I believe gave her the correct eye color, and I think even made her hair not tomboyish, but I don't even know if I don't even know if Lois's hair in the show is tomboy. It might be even like, I think even some tomboys might go, Jesus Christ, girl, we don't even keep our hair that short, right? I think they went more for like the butch lesbian haircut. And people clown on the show, or rather the design and the material. I won't lie, I kind of laughed at those memes too. They were funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were fucking funny as hell. But I gave the show a fair shake, and I went, yeah, it's not terrible. If you were a Superman fan, it's not the worst interpretation of the character. There have been worse. They kind of are. It looks like they're going with the underpowered Superman thing. And I don't know how I feel about it, right? They had a brief moment at the end of episode 1 during his fight with the robots that made me go, okay, maybe they're not going to do this to him. Because I understand, Superman is probably one of the most difficult characters to get the power balance right. You don't want to make it so absurd to the point where it feels like all his fights, like there's no stake in it. But at the same time, you also don't want to underpower him to the point where your average crook is able to beat his ass. Like, one moment, like, the one thing that bugged me, this was at the tail end of episode 1 during his fight with the robots. It was the fact that he was actually being bruised. That was weird to me. I was like, his skin is bulletproof. How the fuck is he being bruised, right? You can still show him getting his ass beat. I have no problem with that. It's the fact that he's bruising. It's like, what? This is a dude who could tank a nuclear bomb to the face and come out fine. I don't know. Like I said, there are odd little things here and there I didn't like. Oh, but on the other hand, while I pointed out what I didn't like about him being overpowered, there was actually a moment in episode 2. I actually liked. Clark, following, finishing up his fight against Livewire, and saw the damage done to the city, or down, that area of the fight, cleaned it up and made it look presentable again. I actually thought that was neat. I actually thought, oh, he cares about the damage done to the city. He doesn't want to. He seems like he understands the weight of his powers and goes, I'm not gonna fucking leave a city destroyed like this, right? I already know, I already know the moment I said that example, I already know what everybody must be thinking of a certain fucking, Superman movie, by a certain director. So, it was neat, I'm not gonna lie. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Those are all my thoughts I kind of want to get off my chest about. I will probably continue reviewing the show. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Let me know what you guys think of the idea, whether I have two options. Whether it's I will just review the episodes individually moving forward, or do you want me to wait until the end of the series and then make one big review at the end, right? I'm going to leave that up to you, and, let me know what you guys think. Anyway, I think I'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.